Now we will talk about the important microphone jargons. We will start with sensitivity. These days, everyone is sensitive about even the tiniest issues, but microphones have their own definition of sensitivity. For a MEMS microphone, sensitivity is the electrical output the mic generates to a known standard acoustic or sound input, and the entire audio industry uses the same reference sound input as standard, that is 1 kHz tone with a 94 dB SPL or sound pressure level, which corresponds to 1 Pascal of pressure. For analog mics, the unit for sensitivity is dBV. For digital mics, the unit is dBFS, and dBFS means decibels relative to full scale. 0 dBFS is the absolute maximum digital amplitude the mic can produce. Let's take an example. For a minus 26 dBFS digital sensitivity output and putting it in the equation, we get the microphone output to be 5% of maximum digital amplitude. So a digital microphone with minus 26 dBFS sensitivity is more sensitive than one with minus 40 dBFS. Even though the numbers look opposite, remember, sensitivity is a negative value. The lower the number, the more output the microphone produces. Another important point about sensitivity is how it affects recordings when the sound source is far away. As distance increases, the sound pressure level reaching the microphone naturally drops. A low sensitivity microphone will produce a smaller digital output or a higher negative dBFS value. So to make that weak signal usable, you will need to apply extra preamp gain, which also boosts the noise flow. On the other hand, a higher sensitivity microphone converts that same low SPL into a stronger digital output. This means you get better clarity at a distance and often don't need to apply much gain. However, high sensitivity also means the mic can clip or distort signal earlier when loud sounds are present. So it's always a balance between pickup at a distance and headroom for loud sounds. Don't worry, things will get more clear in a bit. Directionality. Directionality describes how the microphone responds to sound coming from different angles. MEMS microphones are almost always omnidirectional, meaning they treat sound equally from all directions. However, directionality can be influenced by certain factors like port position, enclosure, or using multiple microphones. Multiple microphones can be used in devices like hearing aids and headsets to cancel out background noise by creating a beam for the desired sound, which we note technically as noise cancellation. Signal to noise ratio. At its core, SNR is a measurement of clarity. It compares two things: the strength of a standardized reference sound to the microphone's own internal self noise. SNR tells you how much louder your sound is compared to the unwanted electronic hiss the microphone produces on its own. A higher SNR number is always better. It means clearer sound and a quieter background. Where does this noise come from that we are talking about? This self noise is an inherent part of the technology. It originates from several sources within the package, that is the tiny mechanical motion of the MEMS diaphragm itself, internal circuitry of the ASIC or application specific integrated circuit, minor fluctuations or noise from the power supply lines. Alright, let's discuss the role of weighing filters. When manufacturers measure this noise, they don't just take a random raw number. They pass the captured noise through specific electronic filters to make the results more relevant to real-world applications. These filters are standardized. A-weighing. This is the most common filter you will see. It mimics the sensitivity of the human ear at moderate listening levels, rolling off very low and very high frequencies that we don't perceive as effectively. C-weight. This is a flatter response filter often used when measuring very loud sounds above 100 dB SPL, where the human ear's frequency perception changes. Z-weight. This offers virtually no filtering, a true physical or flat measurement. Most microphone datasheets use A-weighing because it provides an SNR value that matches human perceptions of audio at typical conversational levels. The A in dBA simply tells you which weighing filter was applied during the measurement. It is not a different physical unit. it's still dB. A critical takeaway is that you cannot directly compare an SNR value measured in Z to one measured in A. The specific weighted noise value is a foundational component of the next major term, equivalent input noise, or EIN. So EIN is one of the most misunderstood but most useful parameters, and it answers the question what SPL of actual sound would produce the same output as the microphone's own internal noise. So EIN is in dB SPL or acoustic representation. Noise floor is in dBFS or digital representation. So for example, if EIN is 29 dB SPL, it means even in a silent room, microphone behaves as if there's a 29 dB SPL sound around. This value directly limits the mic's minimum usable sound level, as below this signal everything would be considered noise. Dynamic range. So this is the span between the quietest sound the mic can detect and the loudest it can handle without distortion. So basically a linear relation between input SPL and microphone output. Visualizing this, we can see that EIN at 29 dB SPL input is mapped to minus 91 dBFS digital output. 94 dB SPL reference is mapped to minus 26 dBFS output. And 120 dB SPL AOP is mapped to 0 dBFS or the clipping point output. So on the input side, EIN is 29 dB SPL and AOP is 120 dB SPL. To calculate dynamic range, we simply subtract EIN from AOP, which gives us 91 dB. If AOP is low or sensitivity is high, which is one and the same thing because sensitivity is dependent on a given AOP in case of digital microphones. So if that happens, mic distorts earlier and we get a less acoustic headroom, causing clipping and distortion. THD or total harmonic distortion. This tells us how much unwanted harmonic content is added to the microphone output. So the key point is that harmonics are integer multiples of the fundamental frequency and THD grows rapidly with loud sounds. This is measured at 105 dB SPL acoustic input. Also, interestingly, THD roughly triples every 10 dB increase in input SPL, and when the THD crosses 10% bar, the microphone is no longer accurate. That leads us to AOP or acoustic overload point. This is the input SPL where THD touches 10%. Above AOP, the output is no longer linearly dependent on the input. This is the ceiling of what the microphone can handle, and commonly MEMS AOP values are in the range of 116 to 130 dB SPL. This is a ballpark number. Next we have PSR, power supply rejection, and PSRR, power supply rejection ratio. These parameters tells us how well the microphone ignores noise on its output due to the power supply. The PSR is tested with a 100 millivolt peak to peak 217 Hz square wave injected on the VDD. There is no acoustic input, so as to observe just the effect of power noise on our digital output. And 217 Hz is chosen because it is the frequency which is commonly found in GSM transmission cycles. PSRR is similar but uses a 100 millivolt sine wave. If the microphone has excellent power supply rejection, the output will match its normal noise floor. Sample rate. Sample rate is the number of snapshots taken from an audio signal every second. An audio signal in the real world is analog, and to represent it digitally, we take many tiny samples of its amplitude over time. You can think of this similar to the frame rate in a video. Higher the frame rate, smoother and clearer the motion. Similarly, higher the sample rate, more detailed and accurate the audio is. To accurately reconstruct an analog signal, you must sample at least twice the highest frequency present in the signal. This minimum required sampling frequency is known as the Nyquist rate. The upper limit of human hearing is around 20 kHz. So to capture everything humans can hear, 44.1 or 48 kHz sample rate satisfies the Nyquist requirement. Well, human speech does not extend to 20 kHz. Most speech energy, even with harmonics, lies below 8 kHz. Therefore, 16 kHz sample rate is more than enough for speech recognition, keyword spotting, and voice commands. This is why most ML speech models use 16 kHz. If the sampling rate is below the Nyquist rate, then the audio will suffer from aliasing. I hope I am pronouncing it correctly. Aliasing occurs when high-frequency components fall back and appear as low frequencies in the recorded audio. This creates distortion, unwanted tones, and a generally poor quality recording. To avoid this, microphones use anti-aliasing filters to remove frequencies higher than half the sampling rate. Let's quickly go through what understanding these jargons will help you evaluate. How sensitive a mic is, how noisy it is, how loud of an environment it can handle, and how clean the electrical output will be. Whether you are designing a voice assistant, wearable, IoT node, smart speaker, or even a DIY audio project, these fundamentals help you choose the right microphone and avoid issues like clipping, distortion, and noisy recordings. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like and share this video. This is Avinashee Tech, over and out.